I wish I was a little
It's
bit
actually,
taller.
I was actually too short. But
Ball.
you know what? We're there already.
Yeah.
I don't want to put the boutique back in
Oops.
here
There
like
we
they
go.
had
A little bit.
Ignore the orcish woman that appeared in the art section for a moment.
Oh.
Hello, and welcome
Hello.
to this episode
That's just Elizabeth Warren. No, never mind.
Why are all the
Whoa.
Oh.
of the Ever Crescent Moon, a game where I'm consistently interrupted by my
Compatriots.
by my players.
Right. Pokemon is the best game. Fight me.
Shout out to everybody that picked Score Bunny.
I don't like. Is
You
this a
picked Sad
controversial?
Chameleon?
Yeah. Jade
Yes,
picked
I
Silver
knew my
Fox.
anxiety.
Okay, hold on. Is this a
Jade picked
controversial take?
handsome middle-aged man.
I don't like any of the starters this
There you
time.
go.
I don't like any of them.
Hey, there he is.
I mean, it's okay to be wrong. Like, it's fine.
Okay.
Like, we're not here to judge you for being wrong.
The first step is admitting you have a problem.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
I'll say Squabble is no Greninja. But
I don't like. Well, like what's always important to me is the last evolution, and I don't like any of.
I love Score Bunnies. That's why I picked it. It's actually
like
the exact reason I picked. I picked is based on the last evolution.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna pick Scorbunny tomorrow, and it's because the last evolution. We finally hit that peak. We crossed the ridge.
Lola
now
Bunny.
we're just Digimon. We're just the
Bunny.
first
Digimon.
I've not seen
And
the
so
last
I'm in.
evolution,
I want
so
that.
don't spoil it for me.
Well,
I
so
won't say anything else. Anything else.
last
Like
time on the
Digimon.
Pokemon podcast, we
Yeah. When are we starting our Pokemon podcast?
this is a great
Dude,
question.
can we have a Pokemon D&D game? Is that a thing? Can we do that?
There is a way to
yes,
actually.
I did that
There
in
is
college.
actually ways to put it into D&D that I have.
I got
However,
dibs.
it only goes through first and second gen.
I'm fine with that. I got water Pokemon dibs done. Whatever it is.
It's an experiment maybe we can play with one day. But
Do you ever
today
think
we are
about,
doing the
like-
show that is the Ever Crescent
Oh, yeah.
Moon here on Natural
Yes.
One RPG. So, if you're curious what happened last time, they were on a boat.
I'm on a
We
boat.
were going
And
fast.
it wasn't a Tuesday show.
No.
We haven't done that in a while, huh? Huh, Fran? Huh?
Listen, man, when school stops getting in the way, I will be the most dedicated DM ever. Until then, I must suffer, and you all will suffer
all-
with me.
Not everybody is like me and is phoning it in because they're in their last semester. Which doesn't include which is past a semester in which they already did their capstone.
Kind of what I did outside my internship.
Yep. So, hey, it happens. But
Hello?
we here today. You guys are off the boat. In fact, you had met the first officer in this little village in Par. Though you're not entirely asked exactly where you are.
Mm-hmm.
You just know you're in the country of Par.
Yeah.
Or
he
more
hit me.
importantly, the Delaran Republic of Par.
Supposedly.
And therefore, you guys have kind of been pointed in the direction of a meeting house. And as you begin to walk through into the village proper, it be the semi-orcish nature of the village kind of starts to show its face a little more. You all suddenly feel significantly less. While you are able to see more humanoids than you probably would if this was a true orcish village, like maybe you were inside the village of a warband or something, where there'd be none. There are more, I guess, people like you all than there normally would be. Well, except for you, Ku. Sorry, there are no tieflings here. That you,
I'm a
that you-
special boy.
That you can see at least. But you, while you do see probably more than you would have, you do very much sense the vast outnumberance of orcs and half-orcs, or as the captain you met has noted, horks.
It sounds so dirty.
We got
It
a lot
does,
of
but I
back
love it.
there.
Cat.
Does it?
Yep.
Does it?
Wow, Dylan.
So yes,
Wow.
you
Way to be a
and
racist,
but
Dylan.
the the look of the village is almost. It
She throws
almost
up hairballs.
appears.
I don't know what y'all are getting at.
It almost appears as if like it barely is out of its sense of being a true like orcish village at one point in time. Like sure, many of the like the homes are aren't tents like they would be in a traveling war band, but they are almost comprised of large logs that almost are haphazardly put together. They're almost woven into each other. Something you would do with something a druid would do if they needed to make a stick hut. Except these are large logs brought into these almost like woven buildings. There are, platforms formed into parts of the trees that grow into the area. They're despite like areas like, Mail or even Thunderbane, the lack of industrialization is very apparent when you walk through, as orcs carry like sacks and jars everywhere. They almost there's almost a seeming refusal of using any type of carriage. Anytime you see any type of wagon or anything, they are accompanied by either some type of like human or half elf. If you see an orc, they are almost utilizing their strength rather than any of these larger tools.
Interesting.
Yeah, but at the same time, despite they are around orcs, which maybe the lay person would believe to be outward, forceful, almost kind of obnoxious, everything is quiet. It is stoically quiet as you walk through. You just hear the sounds of movement and footsteps going into the not so dry ground and earth beneath your feet. As you can see, along what used to be, warband banners across parts of the posts, you now see Doloran banners flowing in the wind.
Yeah, represent.
Well, it's complicated now, isn't it? Inevitably, you find yourself going into what you start beginning to kind of come into view of what is very clearly the biggest building in this entire. The biggest building in this entire area. I had to try, if I'm quieter for you guys, I'm sorry, but I'm too loud for the stream.
Yeah.
Clearly the biggest building in this entire village. It seemingly is the only one that even has a second level to it, albeit not much of one. You can almost see where the second level begins and ends, just from kind of being on this off-angle view of the building. But it's similar to the other ones. Kind of has this woven logged build to it.
Okay.
As, you don't really see any signs. You haven't really seen any as you've walked through here.
Nothing in any language to indicate where we're going.
No, you don't. There, like I said, there's no like street signs or signs on buildings.
Time to throw egg.
Granted,
There's no
you
signs, that
can
means there's no
recall that
cops.
the note to find the meeting place in this village is the largest building in the village. You'll know it when you see it. Just walk down this way.
And do we see it?
Like I mentioned, you have seen the largest building by far in this village in front
Got
of
it.
you.
I'm already heading towards it.
I am following after Kinder. Or, sorry, Carly Ray Hansen.
That's correct.
Right.
Correct.
I forgot we were doing that.
Yes, remember your names that you wrote down, except for Gaius, who was kind of was the only one to listen to the
I
fact that he
wrote it-
didn't have to.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, I thought someone else didn't have to too, right?
I
That was
didn't have
Kinder,
to.
but he was like, I want to
Oh,
do it
but you were
anyway.
like, I
But
want to be.
I felt left out.
Oh yeah, I thought of an organization 13 name where I just threw an X in my name, but I don't remember what I made it anymore.
Gaxius Valith.
Gaxius.
That's pretty good.
Valifex, yeah.
The Valifex. Oh. So yes, Kinder, I guess, is kind of almost taking the lead going into this building.
Yeah.
You enter into this building and you suddenly see going into this is like traveling into an entirely different location. There is seemingly no orcs or orc bred folk in this building.
Man, I really was gonna look for an orc sourdough, so that's really unfortunate.
In this room is almost the entirely comprised of the Dalaran folk that have clearly come along here.
Oh.
Oh, the
Okay.
Conquerors. Got it.
Hell yeah.
All right. Look at Kinder. I think this is your show.
With my black sweatpants, it looks like I don't have legs.
Who's to say you do?
You have
Thank
legs.
God. I, for one, have been
Unfortunately,
waiting for this my
Bennett,
entire
no one
life,
in the
sorry.
audience can see below your hips.
Okay, that's good.
So,
So you could be wearing no
That's
pants.
important. You know
Hey,
what?
you have
Wearing
been
no
stuck with
pants,
this whole time?
hey, now be careful. You're gonna have to get up at some point.
Well,
Yeah.
can't throw that on. With-
That's what
If
you.
I know you. You're gonna
And
get up at
we're
some point.
we're waiting for that moment with bated breath.
There is the jumping jacks portion of D&D.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we gotta get into
You
the
have to
seventh
prove
inning
you can
stretch.
do Roll athletics. No, actually do athletics.
Yeah. It's how I bring immersion into the table.
I don't know.
Alright.
If you climb the scaffolding, go ahead and try.
All right, I want you to climb part of your room.
Right. Make an athletics check, but you're just arm wrestling me. Try to beat me, nerd.
Make
Make
an
a
athletics check.
Do I believe you?
In order to match the amount of strength your character would have to do, I want you to do 60 push-ups.
Oh no, no, not again.
That'd be the best.
PTSD triggered.
That'd be a great way to play into something. To play into, instead of rolling for those, you have to complete an action in real life. And if you succeed, then your character also will succeed. And if you fail, your character will also fail.
That'd be really good for like an in-person game
What's
too.
the Constitution saving throw then? It's like, hey, let me stab you, and if you die, then you lose.
It depends.
I don't think I have room here to deadlift.
You gotta get creative.
Oh, you want to open this door? You have to deadlift 250. You have to do a new PB in the inverted press.
Constitution saving throw. Chug a gallon of milk.
Gallon?
Depends how much the
Down
I
these
guess it depends on the DC. If it's a strong DC, then yeah. If like the
Down
DC was
these-
like 18.
Okay.
Down these 3 Red Bulls before you can.
You could just choose to fail.
All right.
Yeah.
While
I'd
everybody
get
is chugging gallons of milk,
All right, let's bring this back. Let's bring
Yeah, let's
this
bring it back.
I don't think that's fair to
Yeah.
let that dollar people.
and he holds it in front of him and does like a slight bow. And he says, "Hi."
To who exactly?
The Delarans, right? We just walked inside
Okay.
to find ourselves face to face.
Is there like
Yeah.
a front desk or anything?
Oh,
Is there a
there's
receptionist?
seemingly a counter to what is I would argue is a relatively makeshift bar.
Mm.
Oh. I'm assuming he does that then.
Huh?
Yes. In that general direction, I do a polite thing.
Not many people seem to be looking in your direction.
Okay. Story of my life.
Might want to be
I
a
guess
little
I'll
bit
go up to the
louder,
counter.
buddy.
All right. There's a half elf there in leather armor. Just
Oh.
kind of turns around. You're new around here. Where are the lot of you?
Yeah, sir. We are new around here. My name is Carly Ray Hansen. And these are my compatriots here.
Ah, what brings you guys here? You don't seem to be part of any new troops.
We're actually here on guild business, and by the guild business, I mean, do you have any business for our guild?
Ah. Well,
The laugh is in character too.
I don't get to do too much. That's right. You know what? I do have somebody though who you can go talk to. I don't know if you'll track her down, but I'll have an idea maybe where she'll be. She's quite the character. At least to the Horks here.
Oh, so that's the thing people say. Okay.
Horks, eh?
Her name is Commander Arok.
Our rock.
Yeah.
Commander.
If you're gonna catch her, she oftentimes is near the outer gate. You said you guys were here at the guild, right?
Correct.
Well,
No. What?
I'm assuming you showed that to the captain at the port. Then essentially, once you reflash those to the guards, you potentially will be able to walk out there into the country. Obviously, whether or not you wish to do that is innately your own risk, but she often comes in and out of the town. She's keeps yelling at the other orcs and horks here in town. I
Why?
never know what
Of
she's
course.
saying, but she always seems real riled up. I don't speak Orcish, so
Oh.
I never know what she's saying, but she seems real riled up about it. She's she's someone to keep, especially if you're going to be here. I don't know how long you guys plan on being here, but if you're going to be around her anytime, if you want to be on the good side of any of these orcish people here, she's one to get in good with. She's kind of if you want to look at it, she's kind of our main link to the higher ups of the orcish hierarchy here.
Well, while we're on the subject of getting in good with them, are they okay with being called Horkish?
Depends which ones you talk to.
Right. So, for generally, we should avoid using such a term.
I don't know. I don't care.
All right.
How about orc adjacent? That might be a little bit better.
You know what, Carly? We should probably not do that at all.
I mean, it depends. How are you? I mean, look at it this way. I'm not always the biggest fan of being constantly just being called a half elf.
Oh, trust me, brother.
Like it's
I feel that.
yeah,
I prefer
it
elf.
makes a lot of people like
Yeah.
to really emphasize that half part.
I
At
feel
the same time,
Unfortunately,
despite that
yes.
some of them are take it a little the wrong way, at the same time, at least for me, I think it's easier, and I would rather again that half moniker really gets tossed at you sometimes in the wrong way. So it's hard to
Must be
please
nice.
everybody, but everybody in our regiment calls them horks. So you kind of just, in a way, it's just the way we gotta. People know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it must be nice to be referred to by your race as I rub my horns. Usually people call me Devil. On a related note, what's the name of this town?
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
You are in Port Shakar.
Shakar.
Yeah, I guess the Delarans thought, I guess the hierarchy, I should say, decided that they could keep the name. This used to be a warband fort of the Shakarians.
Shakar.
The architecture around here seems kind of unique. How did all this come about?
Yeah, orc brute strength, really. They they don't necessarily worry about how it gets built. They just worry that it would get built. Especially when, this was just a land of roving war bands of almost immeasurable size, constantly fighting each other. It was more about making it sturdy enough, but it's not worth to spend all the time if it's just going to get burnt to the ground by some fire arrows. Now that we've created a little bit of stability, similarly to the city of Par itself, we inevitably hope that we will be able to modernize the architecture of the area. Since they don't have to worry about burning to the ground anymore.
Burn to the ground.
All right. Just a quick reminder: where are we finding this commander person?
She's probably the only one that's really gonna have something for you to do.
Come on, man. Pay attention.
If the captain out by the port really didn't give you much of anything, then in terms of us Dolorans, not many other people are gonna have much to do. Unless you're willing to maybe settle some type of argument between if there's some, I don't know, if there's some other petty officer who maybe got in a fight with an orc or something.
I was just asking where we can find her again. I'm sorry.
Oh, misunderstood you. Yeah, if you keep essentially heading down the road, if you came from the port, if you just keep heading down the same road here in the same direction you came from, so you were going to get here. If you just keep heading down the road here, you'll get to the main gate, and at that point, it's just kind of a waiting game. She'll inevitably come in for sure. Just maybe today, maybe tomorrow.
Cool.
You'll have to see it. Maybe if you just get lucky enough. Otherwise, if she's already in town, you'll probably hear her on the way because she's been doing a lot of yelling lately.
Should be easy to.
Reminds me of a family member. You've been a great help, sir.
She's quite the passionate woman, but she has got quite the amount of influence among the Orcish here.
You know me by my voice.
Oh, she was some warrior for a long time. One of the later ones to part of the later war bands to kind of come into the agreement, but she's kind of fallen out with the other chiefs of that war band. But they suppose, I guess, I don't know, this is what I've been told, is that it is against their code to do it to essentially fully outcast her or try to do anything to her. So she just kind of comes here, makes a small ruckus, and then leaves.
But it's still our best bet.
Yeah, she'll have something, and if you're part of a guild, then you're at least allowed to talk to her.
Wonderful, then. That is our next goal, gentlemen. Unless we have any further questions for our newfound friend.
I got nothing.
Carly?
No, I'm anxious to meet this person.
I'll look over, guys. Big G, you got anything?
Big G.
G unit, you got anything?
Are you a fan of Imagine Dragons? No. I got nothing.
I don't have to imagine dragons. They're outside my door every day.
Let's move on.
All right. I thank you sincerely for your help, and may we meet again.
Who knows? Maybe. If you're around.
Oh, also, what was your name? I didn't catch it.
My name is just Tillian Larshide.
All right,
Tillian?
Timmy. We'll catch you later, Timmy.
Oh, God.
Yeah, let's see if you're around. I don't know. I may not be on I may not be on the bar post.
Well, I
That's
get
what you wanna
along
call
with
this.
people who are, hanging around watching stuff. I get
Yeah, we'll
along
see.
with people with, guards. My friend Kyle back at the, back at home. Oh,
I like the idea that
Do we
everyone
ever
else at the
go
party
way
is just like,
back?
who is this Kyle? Is somewhere back
We
in
have
mail.
grown.
Steven.
We have grown accustomed to this. I would imagine.
Somewhere back in
we
mail.
spent 2 years.
Steven shudders for a moment, like in anger.
Wait, was Steven his actual name?
Yes.
No.
Yes, it was Steven.
How did you remember that?
I don't know. Just for some
Only
reason.
because I mentioned it on the
Yeah.
day.
Well,
It was my favorite. It was my favorite arc.
well, he may be.
Because I was
Steven
like, yeah, because
in
I was
life.
like, yeah, that was Steven.
Kyle in my heart.
Ah, Kyle.
Well,
Like
he may be
immediately
Steven
you
in
just
life.
went against it.
He's Kyle in my heart.
Forever, Kyle.
What a Chad.
Totally.
All right, you guys head out.
Alright. Yep,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
leave
Yep.
building.
Let's go find this commander.
All right. So yes, if you want, you can continue down the road that you're essentially on. Otherwise, you can kind of go back into the. Essentially, you can go to the left, and that was the way you were going. Or you could go down an extra path that's to your right, like a hard right.
Should we stay or should we go?
Well, I mean, clearest directions is just further up ahead.
So we stay on the path.
What do you guys think?
I think the sooner that we can find Commander Arak, the sooner we'll be able to accomplish what we're trying to do here. So let's go for it.
Listen, we can get back to our regular lives. So yeah, let's continue.
What's been wrong with you here so far? Come on.
The racism.
What?
I want to swear again and not proper.
What? You say racist, but have you really talked to them?
Look, man. So far, all of D&D is all about racism. Like 100% of it.
Depends.
Calling people by their literal race is pretty much the definition of racism. Introduce yourself. Well, I'm race.
All right. But
I
yes.
mean, to be fair,
Probably
if we were in a
not.
realm, if we were in, because it's more like species, really, more than anything. So
Oops.
it's kind of like if we had aliens in the real world, like we'd start
Well, if
describing
we
each other as
did,
whether or
It's a good
not
thing
like
we do.
There would be people
we are
on
human.
the forums like aliens are people too. Stop being xenophobic.
Hey, nobody said none of these people. These aren't people. Just because they aren't human doesn't make them not people.
So
Get that
you
straight.
admit it.
Can
Good
we just
job,
please
chat.
go find
Good
Commander?
Let's go down the road.
Please.
Let's go further down. All right, so you guys are heading towards the left then.
Arak, rather. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
As you begin to head down, you kind of start to see now a little bit more. I guess you could say like a little more construction going on. It seems like the what Tillian called the modernification of the area seems to kind of be taking fold here at the start, as you are kind of starting to see buildings kind of change to
Condos.
somewhat normal, I guess for you guys, more normal looking homes.
hmm
As you'll see, mainly
Wait,
the
so are they using the
mainly the
same-
orcs working.
Are they using the same like tree sort of twisting patterns in their architecture, or is
No,
it,
like
is it
way
literally being
more-
built more like?
No, like it looks like they're like chopping the logs down. They're like fully building like
Oh,
normal looking or way for what's you guys like normal looking homes
Interesting.
in classic Delaran architectural style.
Somebody better call Fern Goalie.
So these often, the ones that seem to be finished, kind of look like what you would see in like villages, which kind of are like either smaller or medium-ish, like farmhouse style. You know, they look like what you would see in a village somewhere in Delara. You know, farther outside of like the city of Mail and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you guys begin to head down. Yeah, and you're continuing to see this kind of change as you walk through. Again, it's like now you're re-transferring into another world. Like it just keeps like morphing as you walk through this place. It's kind of strange. Like the port was very modern, or was like very Delaran looking. Then you walked in and it got all orcish and crisscrossy. Oop. And then
That scared the shit out of me.
you're good to go, Fern.
It's the colonization.
And now you're re-going into this like, now you kind of re-entered into a modern Delaran style, but a little more so than it was at the port. The port was just more of like the clearly built when they made the port buildings. So like obviously when they decided to make a port out of this city, they needed to add buildings
Yeah.
to fit the things that like supplies for ships and whatnot and docks. So mainly the buildings that were like Delaran style by the port were clearly built for the port.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, you're beginning to head out. Does anybody kind of want to do any, as you're walking through, kind of make any desires for anything?
Well, actually, I would like to cast detect magic around me.
It's kind of around you. All right. Let's look at. Let's double check.
See if maybe I pick anything up that's unusual or out of the ordinary.
Yeah, let's see. It depends, I guess. We'll look at the radius here of it. So remember off the top of my head. So about a 30-foot sphere from yourself.
A little bit of a spear ball.
Yeah, no. You don't really. At least for. Cause what's the concentration up to 10 minutes? All right. Right now, you don't seem to pick up anything. The place seems about as bare bone. Outside of maybe some of the things that are within each of you is really all you're picking up. Which is obviously you're aware of. But otherwise, you're mainly just kind of around you in this kind of 30-foot space or sphere that you can look into, which kind of bleeds in because I would say the walkway you are in is maybe about 15 feet wide. So you're getting into kind of even both sides of like either places of the construction where people are building stuff, the homes that are already there, and you're not really picking anything up even as you walk through.
I'm gonna turn to Gaius and say, I think you and I should be a little careful around here. I don't know if they'll take very well to magic users like us.
Well, good thing my middle name is Careful.
Is it?
I didn't know.
It is now.
It is now.
That is a fair answer.
Kind of almost to Q, you begin to hear a lot of orcish yelling. Seems to sound very firm and deep, but yet somewhat feminine.
I wonder if that's our girl.
It's a Sinead O'Connor concert.
Yeah. You since you've
Really?
detected
Oh.
magic, you've maybe walked an extra like about 5 minutes, and you it kind of suddenly. What is she have anything with that? Oh yes. You begin to pick up a little bit of a magical ping ahead of you. I'm trying to see.
Kinder's ears perk up.
Partly trying to see. Let's see here. No, it doesn't tell me. It doesn't. I guess it's hard to say. It looks like you kind of feel. It's like it kind of feels like a block of magic, kind of coming towards you as you're in front of you. I guess towards you in a vague way, as it seems to be kind of somewhat going towards your direction, but in front of you. So like this
Is there
kind
like
of.
is there any kind of humanoid figure attached to it, or is it just
Right now it's hard to tell, but suddenly, like as the yelling stops, make me a. Since you're kind of looking around, why don't you make me a dex check?
Sure. Ooh, 3.
That's an oof. That's a big oof.
Oof.
You kind of get like the cartoon, like
Whoa.
poof, as a door like slams right into your face.
Baruga.
You take 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, good.
That's
As
half
the
his hit
door just slams into Kinder's face. Like
Oh my
he just
God,
pure
Kinder.
cartoon, like just
He's dead.
as
You killed Kinder! You bastards!
you'll see this definitely a orcish looking woman kind of almost like charge her way out. She has a helmet kind of at her hip,
Somebody.
large greatsword strapped to her back, kind of pushing down a moderately sized cape or cloak.
Sweet.
As you kind of see her, you can hear her muttering to herself. As she just kind of continues to, she just goes out and begins to kind of go down the road towards the main entrance.
Ma'am?
Hello.
I'm just laughing.
She doesn't seem to hear you. Or at least
ma'am.
she doesn't react.
Now I'll help Kinder up to his feet. Still laughing.
I've run after the
Who am I?
lady to kind of like tap her on her shoulder.
All right, yeah, she's not. If you make a jogging pace, they'll catch up to her. She you kind of hear her like
speed's
almost
40.
snarl as she turns around, like, "Who? What? Who are you?"
Hi, I'm Kubrick. I'm with a guild. We were told to find you. You may have slammed the door again on the face of one of my compatriots over there.
What? What? Oh, huh? As
I don't
she now
blame
will
you.
turn around to see you with Kinter right at the door. As he has like nose bleeding, like ah.
Holding my nose.
Oh.
No.
Oh! As you kind of see like the anger that was on her face kind of warp into like, oh, as you kind of see her come back as she kind of puts a hand to your face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, young one. As her hands will kind of glow, and you will get 2 points of health back from her laying hands.
Yay.
2 out of 3.
By the way, in somewhere in the period of when things ever happened, you guys have are clean on everything, right? Because you have had multiple long rests since we have done anything. Yeah, we'll only make...
I should be.
Okay.
I got hit with the back of a dagger. Out of here.
That one doesn't count.
I'm gonna refresh just to be sure, but I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that
sure.
one happened. That's the only thing that happened to anybody. is the hilt of the dagger hitting your noggin for trying to bribe a guard.
That was funny, huh?
I was just trying to figure out who to avoid, but he hit me, so now I know who to avoid.
I think you got your answer. Is what you got.
Problem
To be fair, he gave you the answer.
Money poorly spent.
Who are all of you? You look like a strange band to be together here. You
Honestly, that is what
don't
we are. We are
seem like you're a
strange
Delaran.
band.
What was that, Jade?
We are actually a strange band of guild members.
Ah.
Enjoy the badge.
Oh, perfect.
Our
I have
band
something
is
that you can
called
help me with.
Nickelback.
You're a sneaky magic punch. We've already established that.
Right. Just look at his graph.
We shouldn't. Nobody will listen to me anyway here, but let's not talk here. Come with me. You'll come to my camp.
You're right.
Yeah.
Nickelback only speaks in front of a roaring crowd.
Where did this Nickelback come from?
I don't know. It was his band. I thought it'd be funny.
Roll.
It wasn't.
I was just like, where did this come from? I had no idea.
It's our group code name, Dime Front.
Yeah. Dime front.
All right. As you guys, will you follow her?
Yeah, absolutely. This has got to be the commander.
You know it.
Yeah, I'm good.
As you begin to walk kind of behind her, she'll kind of turn about a bit. By the way, my name is Commander Arrock, formerly of the Skarn.
A pleasure to meet you, ma'am.
Who are the lot of you?
Scarred?
Hello.
You know Michael?
No.
I miss having him in our groups.
Yeah.
Do you
So-
know Thunderbane?
No, I have never heard of the place.
Good, because that's not where we're from.
It is.
That part isn't a secret, Bennett.
Yeah, we have it.
That's our badges.
You have to, in fact, say that you're from Thunderbane. It's your only option.
Because we are actually from the Guild of the Hammer of Thunderbane.
Oh.
Which would make you from Thunderbane.
Well, what my friend is trying to say is, my name is Kubrick Tilly. That's I point at Victor. This is Thorn. I point at Kinder. This is Carly Ray Jensen.
Jensen. Make sure it's correct.
Hello.
And this is Big G.
The bleeding, any of the bleeding and stuff would be stopped now.
Yeah, but the pain lingers.
I mean, you're fully
I can
healed. I don't know what you're
I
talking
can,
about.
Actually,
I can still feel my arm.
Sometimes I don't even know what I'm talking about.
It almost feels like
You
any
feel it too,
potentially-
don't you?
Wait, hold on. Actually, I need to read something.
There's a rule about faking injuries at
No.
martial arts.
No,
Venom
it's something
Kinder.
else. It is unrelated to the door.
Okay.
The door itself.
Oh.
But it's something that I need to Okay, never mind. All right. My thoughts.
But yeah.
Well, I've learned something that is important, but the thought about it has diminished.
It was a mimic nosebleed.
Yeah, it's just something I kind of. It's just something I just kind of need to remember about things that this character can do.
Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's all of us. We're eagerly looking for work. So if you got anything,
Yeah, we have a
here?
couple weeks before our ship is allowed to leave again. So we figured, why not help the community?
Ah, interesting. Well,
Where-
I don't know about helping the community with me, but I would argue it is a help to the greater community.
I'll accept that.
What was that thing you did to our friend there? He looks a little bit better now. The nose isn't broken for
Oh.
one.
It's part of my it's part of my passage. I've by dedicating myself to the cause of heroism, I have attained a number of powers of divine ability.
Religious one.
Not in the same right as many others. I am dedicated to my cause, and I utilize the divine powers that be. An uncommon use of the strength of our kind, but it is what it is.
May I ask which deity you pledge yourself to?
Feel
Or
like I answered that
deities.
question.
She could be polytheistic.
Yeah, this is possible.
The small one whose nose I accidentally broke earlier, who I've since fixed, is correct. Many of our orc kind believe in a number of the orc gods, though depending on your clan's following, you maybe prefer one or the other. The Skarn were not so particular. Like I said, I dedicated myself to the cause of heroism rather than any specific deity.
But what is a hero?
Well, essentially, I made the oath to consistently put myself into, I guess you could say, harm's way in order to ensure passage for others.
I can get behind that.
Very giving
Yes.
thought, huh?
I don't just talk, I do.
Huh.
Hence why, now that I've been reduced to talking, unless I want to fend off an army of Dalarans, I am at an impasse.
Do you want to?
Want and can are two very different questions.
That's fair. So, well, let's refrain from talking more controversial things until we get to your camp. I have a feeling that some people might not take kindly to that.
Well, I haven't made all of my desires secret, so to be fair. Maybe, if anything, just the Dalarans haven't heard as much about it. But I am aware of where I stand at this community at the moment. I at least can use it to my benefit. Temporarily.
I can respect that. Koo's just gonna be silent until we reach to the camp.
All right. Inevitably, after you'll leave the city. You'll start to leave the city as you begin to head out. The guards will kind of they'll kind of give you the hey. Where you guys go? Where are you going with her? They're guild members. They come with me. Yeah, show your badges.
This practice is really tedious. And I show him.
As you guys flash your badges, you're able to head out with no problem.
I'm sorry, I put my badge on my bicep.
Oh, I just need to, oh yeah,
Kinder's just like, whoa.
such a good look. Oh, trying to flex with your hand like this actually hurts.
Oh god, yeah, you're right.
But yeah, so you're gonna head out about. I would inevitably say. Oh, it's about the distance. Probably. Where are you?
7 light years.
No, now I'm looking for an image that I've lost. Oh, here we go. Okay. As you begin to head out, you kind of go into more of what looks like a larger field. You're able to see areas that you're kind of able to see mountains. Well, not overly far enough away from you that you imagine it probably would take a good amount of time to get there. But a little more plainsy kind of place. Doesn't look like it has a whole lot in terms of deep forests, likely from a large history of roving war and constant power struggles. The earth itself, therefore, is not very smooth as you walk it. That was relatively true inside of the city as well. Out here, the field feels a little more moist, as if it had probably rained relatively recently. It's easy to kind of sink into the earth with every step you take now, much more so than it was in the city.
Moist.
You're used to, despite that, down south in places like Thunderbane and Luna, where it feels like winter very, very thoroughly, even when it is not snowing. Here it is a little more, it is still decently warm. While not maybe compared to any type of summer weather, it doesn't feel nearly as cold as it gets down in Thunderbane, for sure.
Brace yourselves.
Don't you say it. All right. Quaint little place.
Well, now that the plains have opened themselves up much farther, it is quite easy to make your way around, but the fields still have not are not what they used to be.
I'm sorry, I might be going a bit moronic, but did you say the plains?
Yes, it is very much a plainsy type landscape here.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. That's a off-table confusion. When you said plains,
When I was like, this place looks like it's a little more plainsy and open, you were like, there are aircraft.
The water.
It's like, oh my god,
It's so advanced.
the Feywild and the Shadowfell. What? Okay. Sorry, I've been reading a lot about Spelljammer, so my mind's in plains.
Yes, there's no spelljammer here. They're just open fields.
Got it. The boring type of plains. I like it.
That it also, though, these fields also, you would argue, if the weather was a little more humid, that it probably would be like total swamp with how muddy it has gotten here.
or it'd be a little less, I want to say, swamp-assy?
Yeah, well, largely this, you can kind of, the earth itself looks like it has been beaten by footsteps for much of its life.
It was probably misbehaving a lot.
Bit of a Gettysburg feel to it.
Yes, but how's its dress?
All right.
I'll take a chortle.
Anyways,
You guys start to head out. Inevitably, you begin to get into where am I? I'm losing myself. You begin to head out into you inevitably get to what looks like kind of a small little camp, lacking. The fire seems to have been out for a good amount of time, but yet the fireplace, or they should say the campfire, seems to still be there. As you see, essentially what looks like a tent. Not a small one, for sure. It looks like what a commander or like some type of captain or general would have if you were in like an army camp. So it's a decent sized tent.
Why so far out?
I refuse to live with the Delarans.
So it's self-imposed then, your separation from.
I do not like it, but I will not betray my past or my history. Despite that, I do not fully sit in its benefit. But I do not like the Delarans any longer. Not after I've seen what they've done.
I look around. Is there anybody nearby that's not us or
You
her?
have been separated from society for quite some time at this point. Over
Can
an
I just-
hour's worth.
Would you say that a perception check wouldn't be necessary?
I mean, in terms of let's see, what's your
Could be
passive?
Spies in a sense.
Passive is 13.
I mean,
Wild take.
Yeah, inherently you don't see much of anybody. Yeah, or you haven't seen a soul here. You notice that it's a little, even passively, you notice it seems like it'd be pretty hard to really try to hide yourself in this area because it's pretty just, again, plains like it. Are they gonna, or like, where are they gonna hide? Like, unless they've dug themselves in the mud and somehow have been slowly crawling behind you, but at the same time keeping pace and not sloshing around in the water that is like filled the crevices of this mud. You imagine nobody's probably here.
It's a stealth mission.
Yeah, unless you're really concerned that somebody's like full on stealthing against you. So it really
All
depends
right.
on just how paranoid you are.
All right, point taken.
So
In
maybe
that
somebody
case,
like
then.
Victor would, but
I'm gonna look over at the commander. So, what exactly have the Delarans done to you all?
take a seat. As she'll kind of point to the benches around the campfire.
Let's gather around the campfire.
Well, currently
Whoa,
it's not.
guitar.
Copyright.
I'll be back. I'll be back out in a moment. As she'll kind of head into her tent. You'll kind of see her head out after a moment. She's grabbed a couple logs. What looks like kind of a piece of a flint and steel. And she'll kind of start swiping at it to get it to light up. And it'll go probably after about the second one. Yeah, good. Can be hard to keep wood dry around here lately. So, the state of I don't know. You guys say you're from this land, Thunderbane?
Oh, originally, yes, that is our birthplace of at least 3 of us.
So
To be
I
honest-
imagine you don't know too much about what Par really was, do you?
Hmm.
I can't say I do. No.
No.
I can't argue everything. In a way, there's much to the idea of changing the way that orcs roamed around here. For example, I wouldn't exist if the Delarans hadn't inevitably come here. At the same time, they're beginning to make the situation worse than what it already was.
Hmm.
At least in terms of the orcs themselves. How much do you know about the half-orcish kind?
Learned that you're called Horks now.
Don't be using that type of word around me.
Oh.
I'll get you in the wrong end of my great axe real quick.
Ooh, this may
The
be.
person at the entrance of the town told us that. I'm so
A
sorry.
Delaran told you that.
You're right. Those damn Delarans. We're like dumb Larans, am I right?
I'm just staring at Vic the entire time.
The Delaran noble sits there.
You know,
A little smirk on my face.
second cousin to the king of Dalaran. Father helped save the king of Dalaran. But yeah, no, that's fucking.
Well, to be fair, you're at least aware, though, that now your father is not so happy with having put him there. Or having helped keep him there, I should say. I've heard a number of things about you adventurers. At least, I don't know, it depends, I guess, on where they come from. But I remember learning a few things about you adventure type. I don't know who this Thunderbane is, and I don't know how linked it is to Delara. So I could be hitting myself into my own trap.
If I say not at all, will that help?
Well, nevertheless, I am out of options at this point.
So won't matter. Excellent.
Secret police or not, I need to see if somebody will maybe help me out. Who knows? Maybe I'm lucky and Thunderbane is some type of enemy to Delara. In which case, I will be happy to help your secret police ways that I can.
You keep using that word.
That's essentially what you adventure types are, right?
I
That's
don't.
what I remember learning when I worked with the Delarans for a while.
As far as I know, I was never given a badge other than this thing.
That's a badge, ain't it? Looks
40.
like one.
To be perfectly honest with you, I am not too fond of the police myself.
Yeah, as far as I know, that's what the old adventurers guilds are. What is it that you do? You take jobs that benefit the government. I mean, look at I talked to a number of high-end adventurers before I left. And they do these big jobs where they take out, large beasts. They fight large creatures, werewolves, dragons, many tails. But have they really bothered the societies near them, or do they threaten the governments that lie in them? If a bear attacks a man in the woods, is it right for the family to come hunt the bear, or was the man inside the domain of the bear? And by fronting on the bear and threatening its existence, it is misunderstood its place in the forest.
Sounds like something a bear would say.
I do not understand.
Just like morphs into a bear.
You
found me out.
You've answered my riddle.
So yes, have you seen an adventuring guild do something that would harm any type of government that exists?
I don't think so.
Well, it seems like being able to harm a government would be beyond the capabilities of just a singular guild. Something that could really affect change would take several guilds, if not more.
The way the Scar, when they began, were a group of 6 orcs. Through sheer force of will, they had taken down a warband of 100.
Okay, but would you consider that an adventurers guild or a gang of like-minded individuals?
Well, think of it this way. What can a group of potentially hundreds of masterful, seemingly masterly trained mages, holy people, warriors. What can they do versus potentially some of these weird governments? Like if you convinced all of all those in your adventurers guild to come here and take over this city,
Hmm.
potentially it would be done. If you are
What?
looking at what I have been told are masterfully trained people of all types.
I
And you all
think
operate under the one flag that is your guild in that badge.
I think you give us a bit too much credit
I
here.
think you may not give your guild enough credit as it is.
Here's the thing, though. We're all in this because we get some sort of reward out of it.
Yes,
We're
I'm here
not.
for money.
Yeah, I like
That's
her.
right.
I mean,
I forget
It-
your kind do work in these groups for payment.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you give me money, I'll overthrow a government. I'll do that.
Yes.
That's not all there is to it, though, right? I mean, we're not just doing this for the money. We've got.
I mean, I am.
It's also allowing us to become better at what we do.
With
But
money.
a little counter to that would be if we make enemies of governments, nobody would hire us, and thus we're just a mad group of people doing random things, which
Yeah.
defeats the purpose. At that point, we're not a guild.
It's not to say that we're 100% on board with whatever any government's doing.
Mm-hmm.
We're not a fascist dictatorship over here. We still have our own forms of thoughts and opinions on things. It's just we're not prepared to go to war with an entire government over an opinion.
See, and that is what our problem has become.
A difference of opinion.
We here, our orcish kind, have followed suit with this mentality. And we have allowed, a number of them have allowed themselves allegiances to being useful to the Delarans. When we came here, I was brought in almost as a when I was raised in our clan. Initially, I was I was the outcast. My father, though, for some reason, decided to keep me instead of throwing me away. We were the dregs. However, and then suddenly, when we decided to wander off more, inevitably the Delarans came. My father made allegiance with these Delarans. Inevitably, that found himself attained power in the clan, and then our clan started to form part of this with another one, began to form part of this port that exists here. So now suddenly my clan was reduced to doing what was asked of us rather than existing. As a result, they have instituted themselves into our lands. More importantly, those people that, despite their initial negativity towards me, now look at us as betrayers, as they work and put together these buildings while those Delarans sit in that large building doing nothing. They call our people horks, thinking that's some type of compliment. They want... Truly what I have learned is how they wish to prop us up. The Delarans are attempting a genocide.
Are you sure it's getting that bad? Because that's quite an accusation.
They have relegated the orcs to manual labor. They do nothing but work themselves around the clock. The half-orcish kind that have been brought over or have been brought up from those who are willing to be kept in this land are now being propped up as officers, higher standing people in their army. They wish to replace them with us. I know this because I talked to the former captain that had disappeared shortly after our conversation.
Well, while we are here to help, I'm not sure everyone here is on board with toppling a government, even a local one. Don't get me wrong, I 100% am. I just need proper payment, but my compatriots here might feel differently.
Before we continue forward, what do you want us to do? What is the job?
I fully acknowledge our current inability to try to maybe do anything. Despite that, I give the story of the upbringings of our clan and how it grew to be much larger than it initially was. They did not just do it by purely running in and taking on 100 versus 6. That would obviously be madness and suicide. Unlike what most people would consider orcs to be, they used certain cunnings and intelligence, tactics. No, what I need help with you all on is information. They've been taking these crates of various magnitudes into this cave system nearby. The discovery is what I have been unable, however, to enter within them. So needing to discover, I unfortunately just am not quiet enough to make my way in. Maybe you lot with your trained secret policeness can find some information in there. Because these don't go with the normal shipments. Normal shipments do not go in these caves. They're bringing in something. I don't know what.
And it's only the Delaran guards doing this.
The Delaran shipments, I can tell you what, there's no orc band except taking in shipments. That isn't what they did.
Well, gentlemen, what say you?
What's the payment?
Unfortunately, there's not much I can offer.
Not much being...
I only have little remaining gold from when I was a part of the system.
Little.
I have this. I believe. I'd have to check the bag, but I believe there is 10 of those gold pieces those Dolarans had used to give me. Otherwise, you have my. I do not intend to stay here while at least you head on your way. You have otherwise the use of my services while you inevitably help me out. A safe place to be and stay. As none of the orcs will wish to stifle me. since I was technically the chieftain's daughter for what existed as it, well, technically it still exists, but not in the same way. But technically, since I am still the chieftain's daughter, by most orcs in the area, I am untouchable. And therefore, if you are with me, you will all be as well. Not every orc lives in the village. There are some of those who also wish their independence. They shun me, however.
All right, so who's up for diplomatic immunity?
Hang on one second. Give us 1 moment. Guys, if you follow me, I'm just gonna get them in like a little group huddle.
Sure.
Yes. Okay.
Mutter.
Yeah, just put our heads together. All right.
You can't do this.
So, what do you guys think about this job?
I don't know. It kind of feels like we're inserting ourselves into something we don't really have a big connection to. I mean, we don't know fully enough about this place. We've only just arrived here, and we're already doing something that could majorly upset things around here and the status quo. I mean, it's a lot to do so suddenly.
Yeah, and it will really screw with the whole, from the Lara part.
In your passive perceptions, you'll see her go into her tent.
So it won't exactly, great for back on home.
I mean, what happens if this doesn't work? How will the guild take it? How will...
But then again, it is just information gathering. We don't have
True.
to necessarily kill anybody.
This might be something related to those crates your dad's missing, Vic.
That is an excellent point.
Yeah, the thing you're actually here for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take notes. I know.
It's easy for sometimes these things to be forgotten.
All right, guys. What about you? What are your thoughts?
I mean, we did come all the way here. Nice how we see it through.
That's fair. So the terms of the contract. We go in. She provides us for what you call it, Vic? Diplomatic immunity.
Yes, it's something I'm quite accustomed
That's
to.
what he called
You
it.
have to have it here.
Yeah.
That was definitely Vic's name for it.
Do that. Anything we find in the caverns is ours. Kinder, you're the moral compass here. Should we take her gold or should we leave her?
I don't know if I'd call myself... No, it's just... I don't know. Taking things that aren't mine isn't exactly my thing. Most of the time.
If it makes you feel better, you won't be taking the things. I'll take the things.
You know, that actually does make me feel a little bit better.
Blow my nose.
I'll let you do all the taking.
It might
And
be
then
her.
we can work it out from there.
It might be only funds though, which is why I ask. Should we put it to a vote,
I mean, I think we're pretty much all in agreement.
guys?
Ku, do you have a problem?
No, I'm good with it.
Either way,
Let's just not get too carried away.
Absolutely.
We're here to gather information. We shouldn't get too involved.
Non-lethal only. I don't want any Delorean guards killed on foreign soil.
sounds good.
You'll see her now kind of walk out of the tent, seemingly holding a small pouch and a wooden slab.
Looks like she's getting a contract out. All right, boys. Anything else?
Slab's a weird term, but I don't actually have a better word for it. It's really the thing.
Scroll?
Return the slab.
It's wood, so it's not a scroll.
Woody boy.
It's not like a bamboo, like a rolled up thing of wood, like where it's like bamboo scroll. Yes.
Clink, kill them all. Okay.
If you say so. All right. All right, guys.
All
I
right.
think that's it. We're all in agreement.
Yep.
Yeah.
There we go.
So let's
All
say
right,
the lot
hands up.
of you.
Go team.
Go team.
Mickey Magic Punch.
We had to workshop that one.
We already agreed.
It's fair.
Let's say the lot of you.
It's in writing.
I turn with my arms crossed. If you're okay with the conditions that wherever we find the caverns belongs to us, the gold you offered will be our payment as well. And your social benefits will also be part of the reward. We will consider taking your offer. Taking the
Aye.
job.
Excellent. The only thing, if anything, I will require is potential just evidence of wrongdoing. It will help me in favor of trying to win over my orcish brethren.
All right. So any ledgers, letters, stuff like that.
That yes, whatever you can in terms of, if I can, just in terms of what they're bringing in there, in these crates.
Do you accept
They all
mental-
seem to have this weird symbol on them, that she'll kind of toss onto the ground in front of you. What looks like like a wooden slab. It looks like it's just what was ripped off a box. As you will see the Tory family crest on the box on the ground.
Never seen it before.
Is that what we should be looking for? Is that the
Yes, those are the crates that are being brought in here.
interesting? And you are unsure as their origin, just know where they are being placed.
Yes, I do not know of what they carry or where they come from. I don't know what this symbol means either.
You know what? That is an excellent mystery. Perhaps we'll find more in the cave, gentlemen. We should probably go now while they're while we should go.
They potentially are maybe dealing with those of some type of occult nature.
You know what? That's definitely a possibility. We should go figure this out right away, guys. Let's go now.
All right, I will lead you on the way. We will likely reach there by nightfall.
Oh, excellent. Give us the cover of darkness.
Correct.
Imprisoning me.
We will get relatively close to Par itself. So we will have to, once we get closer to the city, we will have to definitely walk with caution. But I have been trying to scout the area, so I do know the way. Come, the lot of you. As she'll kind of begin to lead you guys on. The days seemingly are, now to be fair, the travel doesn't seem super, super long, as the days here, like everywhere else, are much shorter than they are in the summertime. So
Yes.
despite that it's slightly warmer here, you definitely have not time traveled.
Not yet.
Yet.
I don't know. Well, I don't know what he's talking about with yet. But inevitably, the cover of darkness calls as you begin to see a number of kind of torches and carriages in a distance nearby a mountain as you have encroached. As you kind of started going into this, eventually you started to get towards a realm of wood where you're able to kind of cut through towards the side where you inevitably lead to a mountain. And from here, you're able to kind of peek, I would say, a good 200 feet away, where you were able to see as you kind of duck in bushes near the tree line or the forest edge. They set a number of torches, and carts seem to kind of move in towards this cave. The line of it seems relatively long going in, However, they seem to be filing in at a relatively meandering pace.
Hmm.
Yes, There seems to be a bigger shipment of these crates coming in. I do not know all that they carry.
Curious. Down at the docks, we saw a ship carrying a large amount of shipments. I didn't quite see the symbol on the boxes. It could very well be the same one. I wonder if these crates are from the same carrier.
Yes. You'll have to see. I do not know what they contain in these crates or what they are doing with them in there. Inevitably, that will be what I hope from each of you.
Yeah.
There are no warring camps that come into this area. So once the rest of them enter into the caves, you'll be clear to head on forward. As I have noticed as the last ones go in, or the last wagon goes in, the two postmen there follow them in. Then there's nobody in the area.
Just wait until they're finished loading and then go in.
Mm-hmm. Should only take maybe a minute or two for the last one to get in there.
Okay.
All
Are you
right.
going to wait here with us or go back? What's your plan?
I likely will be. Potentially, I could go nearby the entrance if you wish, but
I would actually recommend being, quite in an area where you won't be an alibi, if you will. So if anyone should come across this scene in a negative light, they won't come back to you at all. Not that I have any experience in this matter, but I just think, being away from a event such as this would be in your favor.
right. I will stay here.
Okay, great.
You once you get in though, you can, as long as you hopefully just stay quiet. Otherwise, if anything, if it feels as if you have needed to be in there for too long, I will at least go towards the entrance to listen in. I have good hearing. I should be able to pick up on anything.
How good of hearing?
Enough to tell if you're clashing swords or not.
Could you say, I don't know, hear a conversation outside of a tent?
If I was just outside of the tent, yes. There isn't much of a tent, however. It is but sheep's hide.
Hmm.
Well then.
Well then.
Well then.
All right. It looks like the last one is getting in. You can start to head out. I would, if anything, maybe just lay low. I wouldn't run ahead, just so you maybe don't make too much noise. But otherwise, you can begin to make your way forward.
Dun, dun,
We save it for an hour.
dun, 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 dun,
The entire time she would just be like, "Are you going?"
We're just doing a vibe check right now. Just give us a second.
Vibe check.
Yeah.
Punching each other in the face.
Turn to guys. Vibe check, guys.
Boom.
Bam.
All right. I look over at Vic. Kind of nudge my head.
Flip up the hood. Stealth mode.
Oh, I hand him the. Oh wait, I don't have it. Who has the horn?
Who does have this horn, a silent alarm? Do you have it, Jet? Or not Jen. Sorry, Victor.
Yes, I actually do. I have it written down.
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
Wait.
Uh,
Yeah.
Ring, blow it. Ring one of us when it's safe to go forward. Are you having a stroke?
I'm only kind of partly seeing what some movement out of the corner of my eye. What are you doing?
Sons of bitches don't think things can. I am going into the cave. You guys stay here so I can go.
Yeah, we're waiting for you to do that.
All right, go inside.
Fine. Leave.
Well,
As you kind of get a better lay as well as you start to move forward, you actually are beginning to see like what looks like parts of an actual like real city, kind of over parts of the mountainous kind of hill here. As you kind of begin to edge forward, the
interesting.
strange amount of kind of the what the heck? There we go. Okay. Oh god. Oh god. Okay. Windows are not Windows the program, but like the actual thing of Windows are not working with me here. Okay. There we go. As it almost looks like a real like city. Granted, maybe not as purely Dolaran-esque as normal, so it has maybe a little more edge to the actual stone figures, maybe somewhat delivering on the orcish look to it. But it seems much larger than you maybe would have anticipated an orcish-based city to look like based on the port village you were just in.
Okay. Am I still just following the tracks of?
So you're kind of just going straight forward through this kind of field, which is this part's just kind of like an open field.
Okay.
The grass is a little taller, so you're actually able to kind of duck your way through and kind of almost be hidden.
All right. I'll continue forward.
Right, yes, as you will continue forward, you'll continue to really see nothing. I should
People stealing all my stuff. Now you leave things
change
behind.
the noises here.
Oh, just
As you guys kind of you'll kind of head forward, and it'll seem as though there is nobody around. You get closer to the cave itself, and there is just a cave. The light seems to continue to go down it, but it seems to be the static light going into this kind of cave mouth.
So it's a wide open area, and there's no one around.
Nice.
It kind of through this field, you're able to get as you get closer to the cave mouth. There's a little path here, seemingly where the carts were kind of going through. But then there was otherwise, there was otherwise nothing. Like there's just nobody around. There's just this cave opening.
All right. Can I still see the main group from where I am now?
They're about. You kind of know where they are because you really only went like a straight line. But since they're about roughly 200 feet from you, it's hard to innately see any of them, even in the dim light, or even through your night vision and stuff, just because they're far away.
By the way, back in the bushes, I'm just taking off my armor.
Commander Arok will kind of look at you somewhat questionably for when you start.
It's a stealth mission. And that's all I say.
Yes.
Weapons are
I maybe could have thought about that.
OSP.
I see. Nudity makes you
Ama-
strong.
You
What?
raise a solid point. And her armor will just come off. She was in plate. She was in like full plate. Just off.
You and I need
It's
to have
just
a
like, oh,
conversation.
you feel it too, don't you?
You and I need to have a conversation about that type of armor later. Much.
Kinder, make me an intelligence check.
Wow. I've been feeling fine. Alright.
Hey, natural 20.
Hey!
Big brain play.
When the armor gets cast off and she snapped her fingers, it almost like everything kind of clicks back. Like all of a sudden your mind goes to the moment before the door slammed in your face. And suddenly you realize that was the magic. That was the magic you were detecting. It was the armor.
Oh my god.
You just didn't put it together because your face got rocked.
Right. Mind blast.
Brain blast.
Oh, that's what it is.
It was brain blast.
Oh, my bad. Mind blast is a
Where?
complete different thing.
Yes, it is.
Where did you get that?
That's what I'm asking. That's awesome.
A benefit. The DeLoreans, I guess. The armor itself is too useful to get rid of.
Did you steal it from them?
No, they gave it to me. Recall
Can
my
we
point
give
of them
it to
propping
you
us
without
half-orcs up
wanting
to essentially rule over. I was going to be the figurehead of their new orcish way. This is
Did
the
that
part I
go
didn't get to
well?
get to in my tale of how I know that they are planning an orcish genocide, but as you have somewhat created the note of, I lack the evidence. Hopefully not for
What
long.
else can the armor do?
The armor essentially is able to come off very quickly. Unfortunately, unless I used to one of the truly religious people that were near me back when I was with the Dollarans, he casted some spell and the armor would quickly cast onto me, but the armor itself at the snap of my fingers comes off instantaneously. Putting it on, however, is not any faster.
I should just explain how this armor is still coming off.
What armor did you have again?
Scale mail.
Yeah, it takes 5 minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of counterintuitive to what the general purpose of armor is. I mean, it's kind of supposed to stay on and like keep you safe, but like
Generally, yes.
Yes, however,
It's
plate mail
armor,
itself
yeah.
is very, very hard to put back on. So,
You're so.
I do keep the armor on as much as possible, but honestly, I like not having to spend 15 minutes to take it off.
Is at this point that I blow the horn assignment alarm for Q.
Cool, you will hear the alarm as you're kind of getting the remaining parts of your armor off.
All right. That's our cue, boys.
Ah,
Let's
I shall
roll,
follow
boys.
you. I shall follow you in now as well. Then.
Oh, boys and commander.
Commander
Yeah.
boy.
I should remove her armor now. Ooh, that does not look nearly as good as it did with that plate on.
Relatable.
Since she is currently your NPC, I'll give you this fun meta note of the she went from an armor class of 19 to 10.
Oh.
Oh no.
She's
Well,
less than me now.
When we get
That's
into
what she
at least she has the benefit that when we get into
That's some crazy
to
armor.
combat, she can just flip it on.
No, she can't. She
That is some thing,
explicitly said it doesn't work that way to go on. She needed the holy man to do that.
Yep.
Oh,
The holy man would put it on her really quick.
well, she's support now.
It just gets taken off really fast.
That's your healer's voice.
If she was a cleric, she could have Dawn armor, but she is not a cleric. Therefore, she does not have the cantrip slot, which means she cannot have Dawn armor.
Should have picked Mercy.
If any of you are clerics, you could have Dawn armor, but...
Oh. Wrong
So,
game.
Ku, just take one level of cleric, and then you can take Dawn armor. And then just find... and then get somebody to enchant your scale mail with cast off, and then you're just Iron Man.
Or you just steal hers.
Well, I'm coming right, Kabuto.
The problem with plate mail, Jade, for player knowledge, is plate mail is measured for the person specifically.
Or you can steal hers and get a refit. It's probably cheaper.
Potentially, but most often what happens in those scenarios is you end up only getting... You get a half plate, so you get a... To be fair, free armor is free armor. But most of the time, you don't actually get to keep the full plate.
Alright, fine, new plan. Steal her armor, sell her armor to make your own set of armor.
Well, you're all leaving it behind currently as you see them begin to move through the fields. You see this because obviously you're looking in the area, as you know what you're looking for. Granted, the tall grass sways enough in the kind of the soft breeze. It is getting chillier now here in the evening, especially to you, those of you who have just removed your armor.
Is Ku actually wearing a shirt under that thing today?
Yes, I am. I had to explicitly say when I got the armor that I needed to wear a shirt.
Yes.
Wait, yes.
Why aren't you wearing a chest?
Or
Why are your nipples?
why is Microsoft Word opening up in my computer?
I don't know.
Hey, Cortana.
But it seems to really, I would say, but it definitely appears like it's lagging your system there. All right.
A little bit.
All right. You inevitably, a few minutes will pass and they'll reach up to you there, Victor. You will actually now see Commander Arak with them, but she has removed her armor, seemingly. And so is Ku.
Okay, why are you guys naked?
The Horned One has reminded me that if I remove my armor, I will not be nearly as heard.
Right.
So you know how you don't like being called a horse
I apologize.
one also.
What are you called? I've never
Just-
seen one of your kind.
Just tiefling, but just call me Ku. It's short for Kubrick.
Ah, yes, Ku. I forgot. I apologize.
That's all good, Commander.
The Ku One has reminded me that I can take off my armor for better, so that I am not heard.
Alright, well, the Ku one is correct on that. Removing your armor kind of also removes our defense.
An orc does not hide, does not require to be hidden behind armor.
Okay, but the rogue does need to have somebody with the armor to hide behind.
It's
I
fine.
am here to
I'll
protect
remain the
you
wall.
in either way.
Okay, well, regardless, just
The information with the lot of you, even if I am to fall here, is better kept than to have it hide from anyone else.
Yeah, let's not talk about you dying or anybody dying. Let's Thorn, the road, the way up ahead's clear, right?
I haven't gone in yet, so I wanted you guys closer to the entrance, so I assumed to watch my back, but now that you're armorless, let's all just go in together.
Hi, lead the way.
Yeah, just be quieter going in than you were coming here. It's like a fucking herd of elephants. Come on, watch your feet, no loose stones.
Alright, as you begin to all kind of make your way down the path. Make a stealth check for everybody as you go through.
Oh my
Hey.
god. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh no!
Oh no, I lost my page.
Hold on, do I have the thing? I should have the thing, right? Do I have the thing? Shit, I don't have the thing.
Do we all just roll like shit right now?
Hold on, hold on,
Maybe.
We're about to find
Hold on.
out.
hold on.
Might-
Fuck, I don't have the thing.
Because I did.
Might have rolled an 8.
I don't have
I
the.
also rolled an 8.
Oh,
So
that's
it's a
good so
9
far.
total.
Let's see. So, okay, 8 plus 9.
So yeah.
You know
yep.
what I shouldn't have is a currency converter on this calculator. There we go.
I'm just like screaming to Ku. So then I say, put the soup on the side.
Well, based on his 9, you'd just be like, ah ha ha ha. All right, stuff
A
it.
nice like chestful laughter.
All right, what is your roll, Kinder?
11.
All right, blow it out of the water, Jet.
All right,
I only
Oh
got
shit, I did it too.
Victor.
Vic.
Victor. Did you call
I
him
only
vinegar? What was
Honey
it?
and vinegar.
16.
All right, 16.
Oh, you rolled really low too.
I rolled.
Oh
That's
no.
divided
I was seeing if I had
by-
expertise on for it, and I did not.
Oop.
Not the greatest rules for all of us.
Bear success, bear success.
So as you begin to move down, you kind of are trying to listen in. You're kind of trying to slowly move down. Unfortunately, who's reading in the back? Who's taking the back end?
Probably
I-
Kinder, honestly.
All right.
Unless somebody else wanted to take up rear.
I'm definitely in the front.
Yeah. Now you got this.
Kitty,
Kinder.
your roll was the 11.
11.
Okay. And then who's in front of Kinder?
I would say I was, yeah.
All right, Jet. So many old things are really hard to beat. Like now, because like now I'm conscious of it.
You know how when Francisco calls you David?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is worse because this is Jet's old just username for things. So, and that was what was worse is when you were called Jet, I would call Franny Jet a lot because that was his username.
Yeah.
And then, so that's the thing is that now we've double back so far that I've made that mistake again.
Come full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ku,
Yes.
as you're going down, you kind of slip on a step going down, which kind of kicks in to Gaius in front of you, which kind of kicks in.
Whoa!
You don't all, none of you fully fall, but you all kind of slide into each other as you'll just kind of consistently hear like the
But he does
As-
say, whoa, really
as you
low.
kind of hit into each other, going up to Arak, who behind you, Victor. They all kind of seem to make noise as you kind of stutter step your way, like stopped.
Quiet back there.
Cock. I just swear in Infernal.
Well, that's fortunate for that. If you
don't know what that
want,
means, but that's
Victor,
something
you
really
can
good.
make a perception check
Absolutely.
to see if you can hear anybody.
Thanks to these morons.
You know you love us.
Moran.
Oh, that's 20 total.
All right.
Hey.
You listen forward. You kind of hear like a. Did you hear something?
My own dice.
Nah.
Whose footsteps are these?
You're because you're trying to now. You're like kind of honing
was
in.
that
You're
noise?
listening forward. Yeah, you kind of start to hear like the edge of like a. You hear something? Nah. Hey, those crates ain't moving themselves. Get over here.
We need Sam Porter Bridges. Good job. I need to call.
All right, you begin to move forward.
Yes, with a glare back at everybody. A very harsh glare.
You give him a thumbs up.
You
You
begin
feel-
to kind of come down the stairs a little more. As you kind of start to, these are kind of rounding stairs as you're going down. As you're beginning to kind of round the corner, you kind of start to begin to see what's about to be the reading into this room. I shouldn't say these are stairs, actually. These are ramp. This is like a incline. There are kind of step-like things built into the side, like the edge, which is what you guys are on. But otherwise, there's kind of like a just pure flat incline going down, which is likely what you tripped on, Ku.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Because like going from the step into the incline that's lower from you, it can catch you off guard and you slide down because it's just like rubble going down. So unlike the steps, which are clearly just like carved stone.
Rubble.
So as you kind of are able to see now a little bit, if you kind of peer the edge a little bit, you can kind of see a room ahead of you around the cornerish more. Are you going to continue forward into it, or are you going to stop for a moment?
I'm going to continue. Let's lead the party through.
All right, as you begin to kind of step forward, you kind of begin to see a number of people walking about side to side. It's just like the doorway is just into this large room where people are moving things.
Is there like a corner way we can quickly duck into, or is it just pretty much straight path?
Well, currently, the way, since you've just kind of started walking, you're currently now beginning to edge yourself inside of the doorway. So if you continue walking, you're just going to be standing in the doorway.
Okay, well in that case, then let's stop and confer.
Okay, you can kind of dive back a bit to pick yourself up the stairs a little. So if you want, you can kind of just peek the corner and just do a solo perception check.
Is the game balanced for lean? All right, yes.
And if you quick lean, you might catch into.
Nice spin on that.
If you get a nat 20, it's like when you quick lean.
No, it's a
What was it?
16.
60. All right. You kind of match down, kind of start to peek in a little more. Now as you're able to kind of look in, you kind of do see, if you can round the corner really harshly, you will be able to kind of go into what looks like a small hallway, but you don't know what or who could be down there, but it looks like almost like a small little room, or at least it's a different pathway that isn't going to this giant room with all the people in it. So arguably you could leave everybody up there, or you could recon yourself.
Yeah, let's do a quick group huddle as silently as possible.
Hot.
What are you all saying?
Watermelon.
Alright, guys. Right through this doorway seems to be the hub. Alright, now there's a side room we could duck into, but I can't see that far. We might be running this headlong trap, a group of enemies. He might hit his face again. I don't know what's down there.
Is there anything else that we can set up? I resent that. Is there anything else that we can set up ahead of us to kind of test to see? It feels like a
you
trap or
looked.
something.
You seem to be quite. You seem to be quite capable. Why do you not look ahead?
If you guys want to wait here, I could do a couple more reconnaissance, but I'd rather do that alone.
That's fine. You've got the horn. You can let us know when it's safe to go forward.
Yeah, how many? I have 3. Right?
Should say.
3 left, yeah. You have 4 charges.
Yeah, 4 charges. Yep. There it is. Oh, 600 feet? Fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's not short.
No, I was like, I thought 200 pushing it, 600. Fine. All right. Well done.
You're but a third of its range.
I'll either be back or call you. If I don't return, nobody touch my stuff. All right, I'm gonna head down the hallway.
All right, make a stealth check.
You got it. Oh, that is a nat 20, baby.
Hey!
He almost fades away from you all as he just
He does
dives through the
straight up does the
shadow.
like, and just like fades.
Homer Simpson meme.
Here for the stream, it looked a lot like if I could find the.
Yeah, put it up.
No, it looked a lot like here. You all won't see it, but it looked a lot like. I just saw my camera fade away into nothingness, so it works.
It works.
So yes, you duck in. So as you enter this room, you do seem to see, like this seems to be a room of what looks like to be a number of kind of empty boxes. But it's like almost like a small hall that leads to a door. It looks like it's one of those doors though that's split halfway.
Great. So there's a left or a right one?
No, I mean like horizontally split.
Oh, okay.
So like you could open the top door or the bottom door.
All right.
Well, technically, you open the top door or you open the whole door.
Okay. Then I'll just open the top as little as possible while I can still see through.
All right, make a sleight of hand roll.
Okay. Hold on. Sleight of hand. Get the math number up first. So, oh. $19.
All right, you peek the door through.
Oh, man, I just can't get comfortable.
Well, don't worry about it. Because what you see wrenches your gut. There's a sudden immediate form of disgust. It
It's a mirror.
is painful to see. It is also the end of this episode.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
Cliff.
A cliffhanger.
Join us in 2 weeks
And that's why he's
2
called
weeks.
to see what is behind this door, as we will be at Daisho Con this next weekend.
Hey.
Next weekend?
It is.
Oh, shit.
I know. It comes up quick.
Does.
I know. But I am excited. However, I am not excited that the episode does have to end.
Yeah. Just when it's getting
But we
good.
will see you again. Hopefully, actually next Tuesday.
Maybe.
Goodbye.
Otherwise, yes, we will see you all next week. Find out what happens behind the door.